Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on one of the most common, almost mindless actions you take online, clicking that buy button. So, you just click purchase. What actually happens next? Well, in that single moment, you've kicked off this secret high-stakes journey for your order. And believe me, it's not just about a box showing up at your door. No, it's more like a complex digital ballet where a single misstep can cause absolute chaos.
You know, in the business world, this whole process has a name. It's called the order-to-cash cycle. And you should think of it less like a straight road and way more like a digital obstacle course, just filled with hidden traps that can stop an order cold.
Okay, so to make this real, let's follow a single sales order. Let's make it our hero. Just think of it as this little digital message on a massive mission. It's got to navigate a sprawling corporate system, transform into a physical delivery, and, most importantly, make sure the company actually gets paid. Okay, so our first case file kicks off with a pretty frantic call for help. Picture this. A multi-million-dollar shipment is confirmed in the system, but it is completely frozen. It's not being sent to the warehouse, nobody is picking it. It's just stuck.
Now, when a call like this comes in, the digital detectives, or in this world, these senior consultants, they spring into action. And like any good investigation, they start by checking out the usual suspects.
So they quickly run through the common culprits. Did the customer bust their credit limit? Is there some data error that's stopping the system from finding the right warehouse? Maybe the delivery date is set for way in the future. But this time, nope, none of those are the problem. The clues point to something much sneakier. So after a lot of digging, the detectives find it. The system is just waiting for something called a proof of delivery. It's basically a confirmation that the customer received a previous order. And the culprit? It was a single, incorrectly ticked checkbox buried deep inside the customer's master data. This tiny error was telling the system to halt all future deliveries until it got that proof, a proof that was never, ever going to arrive.
All right, our next case is a real mind-bender. This is the kind of thing that gives CFOs nightmares. A product gets sold for $100, the sales order looks totally perfect, but then, when the final invoice is created, the price is zero. Zilch. The company is about to give its product away for free.
So how on earth does a $100 price just vanish into thin air? I mean, this isn't just a little glitch. It's a potential revenue disaster. The order itself is correct, but the final bill is completely wrong. What could possibly be going on in the system's logic to make this happen?
Well, the investigation leads to this tiny but incredibly powerful setting called pricing type. It's basically a one-letter instruction that tells the invoice how to handle the price from the original sales order. It's kind of like a traffic light for the data. And well, it was set to the wrong color.
So the system was set to redetermine the price. And here's the problem. Because the $100 promotional price had actually expired between the time of the order and the time of the invoice, the system went looking for it and couldn't find it anymore. So what did it find? Nothing. Zero. The fix was simple. You just change the setting to copy the price from the original order, and that makes sure the price gets locked in.
Sometimes, the most catastrophic failures aren't caused by some big, complex bug, but by the tiniest, most overlooked details. These are what we call the silent glitches, the ones hiding in plain sight.
So imagine this. A new product is being set up in the system. A user fills out hundreds and hundreds of fields, but forgets just one: the weight. They leave it blank. Seems pretty harmless, right? Wrong. Weeks later, an order for this product comes through. The sales order is fine, the delivery is created, but then the system tries to calculate the shipping cost, and it hits a complete wall. I mean, how can you calculate freight charges without a weight? You can't. The entire shipment process just grinds to a halt, all because of one single empty field. Okay, here's an even more devious silent glitch for you. Imagine a product is correctly set up as a physical good that needs to be shipped out, but later on, somebody accidentally changes a single setting in its core data, reclassifying it as a service. So here's the crazy part. The next time an order is placed for this item, the system reevaluates it. It sees the product as now a service, and, logically concludes that it doesn't need a physical delivery. So it just deletes the shipping requirement. The order completely vanishes from the warehouse's radar, becoming this ghost in the machine that will never get delivered.
So what does it take to solve these kinds of puzzles? What really separates a rookie from a master digital detective who can navigate this complex world and, more importantly, prevent these disasters from happening in the first place? First and foremost, they are obsessed with something called master data. This is the absolute foundational DNA of the entire system. It's the single source of truth for every customer, every product, and every price. And if that DNA is flawed, well, everything that grows from it is going to be flawed too.
The real toolkit isn't about memorizing a bunch of error codes. It's a way of thinking. It's about that obsession with perfect master data and understanding exactly how that data flows from one document to the next. Ultimately, it's about seeing the entire system as one big interconnected organism, where a tiny change in one department can cause a massive problem for another one down the line.
So the next time you go to click Buy, remember, this is the hidden world you activate with that single, simple click.
It's a journey managed by these digital detectives, whose whole job is to make sure the trillions of transactions that power our world don't just get stuck.
So, the really crucial point here is to appreciate the sheer complexity that's hiding behind all this convenience. And that leaves us with one final thought to ponder. What other invisible systems are running our world?